Oh, okay. So, yeah, the mic was low for a hot second. But hey, it's Nikki. Welcome back to Ranting with Ricardo. We are here for another recap review because it's my channel and I can do what I want over here. So, really quickly, little housekeeping stuff before we get into it because I got like two other things I need to do today, and then I'm probably going to go watch The Ultimatum, finish out those episodes that come for a full recap review of that. Y'all let me know if y'all like want me to do a recap review of the new College Hill with the celebrities, the faux celebrities, and everybody else down there to the BET Plus. But I know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody that allowed me to watch it. So y'all let me know in the comments for the people who are actually here and for the hey and for the people who are here and for the people who are gonna catch this on playback. Y'all let me know. And I was saying, hey, to my friend right here, okay? I was saying hey to my friend if y'all don't know. But y'all let me know if y'all want me to do a recap review for the first 3 episodes of College Hill. Because, I don't know. Maybe I'll do it, maybe I won't. But, let me know if y'all interested in that. But before we get into everything, first of all, I want to thank all 211 because we are now at 211 subscribers. Okay? Didn't expect y'all to be fucking with me like that, but y'all are. Thank you. Yeah. Um, Child, I've been I was like putting it off, and then I was like I had put off because after this it'll be sisters, and then after that will be basketball wives. So I've been putting off everything, going through my own stuff. But I was like, I gotta come to them for something, because Sundays are normally is scheduled, except Love Match ain't gonna be on Sunday no more. And then Monday I won't be fooling with y'all because even though I don't like support that holiday, family still barbecuing. My grandpa's here, so you got to do that. But thank you to all 211 people who have subscribed to me. I want to thank y'all. We can only go up from here. And like I told y'all before, I'll say it again and I'll say it as many times as I can. The objective is to be monetized by my birthday. So I thank everyone who, likes, comments, subscribes. Even if it's not a whole bunch of people, I still thank the people who come in here when I am live, when I remember to put it on public, and y'all like watch me, listen to me, because I'm not on screen, but y'all listen to me and y'all comment and be interacting with me. I thank everybody. I couldn't do this without y'all, so thank you. Like I said, I'm probably going to, after I do all that stuff, go to the grocery store. Later on today, I'm probably going to finish watching Ultimatum and get all of that stuff out, because that's been put on hold, but them episodes is long. And then it's still let me know if y'all want me to recap review the new College Hill that's on BET Plus. And with that being said, other than that, because I want to do the haul, it'll probably happen, like I'll film it today and probably premiere it sometime next week. But that's about it. I ain't got nothing else. The renovations on the bathroom's still not done. That's about it. But that was it. So if you're new to the channel and you like the content over here, please like, comment, subscribe, turn your post notifications on, and share me with your people. If you don't like the content over here and you're not new and you haven't done everything I mentioned before, you can still like, comment, subscribe, turn your post notifications on, and share me with your people. Because guess what? You may not like me, but somebody out there does. And if you want to get in touch with me for any type of business, you want to follow me on social media, you want to buy my Elder Be Damn merch, you want to buy my lip gloss, or you want to bless your girl with a little something, because a bitch got bills. Yes, she does. She has bills. You can find all that where in the description box down below. And it's scrolling across the nice little ticker going across the screen right now. Yes. Some simple, some easy, some little visual. Give it a pop. You see, y'all see it. Okay. I ain't gotta say much. Y'all see it. Anyway, let's get into it. Obviously, this is the Martin reunion. And it's not like, oh, they came and did like a, love reunion reboot. No, it's like an actual reunion show, getting together with the cast that is still, walking amongst us. Rest in peace, Tommy Ford. He passed away in 2016. And they paid tribute to him in this reunion. It wasn't much. There were some things I didn't know, and there were some things I already knew. So when we get to the thing I already knew, then I'll tell y'all. I just didn't write it down. And so So we get into this reunion. Afion Crockett is hosting the reunion. When it came to the set, I was like, I don't know if it's the actual set from Martin from 30 years ago, or if this is just like, they rebuilt it. But I was like, if they rebuilt it, then they got it down like to the T, especially with the Do the Right Thing poster like right next to the door. But they did say that this was the set, and I was like, baby, they took care of the set, because it looks good. It looked on like TV, and it looks how it looked when we were watching reruns of it. So I thought that was great that they used the set, and then they didn't try to do anything else. Like most of these TV shows from the 90s, they won't go back to the actual set for the reunion. I've only seen like that done with like Friends, The Fresh Prince, and now Martin. But most of the time they never go back to the set for the actual reunion show with the cast. And most of the time, like it's reunion like this would happen on like maybe ET does like a special, or Access Hollywood or something like that, but they never truly go back to the set. So I appreciated that. So we have Carl Payne, who played Cole Brown. We have Tashina Arnold, who played Pam. What was Pam's last name? I think, yeah, Pamela James. Tashina played Pamela James. Carl Payne played Cole Brown. Tisha Campbell, no Martin, because we dropped that. Shout out to her. She finally got her she was able to drop the Martin off of her name and just finally become Tisha Campbell again. And that's like a hard battle, especially when you get married and you take on your partner's last name, or and legally she's back to being only Tisha Campbell. So like that's a hard fought battle, trying to get your name back when you had been married for so long, and you went in and did a name change because you thought you would be married for forever ever, and then how her and her ex ended in trying to get her name back. She is now back to being Tisha Campbell. We knew her as Gina Waters, and then she became Gina Payne. And then Martin Lawrence, who was the star of the show, Martin Payne. So they're all back. Afion's hosting, and we really just get into it. So I just like quick highlights, because they were just talking about like the good times and like how the show came to be. But we find out that Carl, like we knew Carl had been acting like for a long time, because he played Cockroach on the Cosby Show, like way back in the Gap. So boom, if you hadn't known Carl from Martin, you knew him as Cockroach. So we find out that Carl knew Tisha and Tashina from like way back. They grew up together. They would see each other all the time on the audition circuits, which was like, if you're an actor or you're an up and coming actor, the audition circuit's not how it is now, especially like with COVID and the pandemic and everybody wanting to be safe. Y'all normally now do more self tapes than you do actual like being in the auditions and everything. It was a cattle call back then. So they grew up on the audition circuits. They knew each other. So it wasn't just like, oh, we're coming into a show not knowing people. Like, this was our friend here. Martin really wanted not Gina. He really wanted Tisha to play his girlfriend. He had told her, based off of Martin and Tisha's like recounting of it, he had told her, because he was doing really well. He was doing really well in stand up. He had done House Party. He was doing Def Comedy Jam, because he hosted that. He was doing really well in stand up, and he was really trying to either get a movie or a television show. And he told her, no matter what it is, like movie or a TV show, I want you to play my girlfriend. And Tisha was like, oh yeah, but he was like serious about it, because obviously she played his girlfriend for 5 seasons. Well, girlfriend/wife. And he really wanted her to do it. So by the time he got the show, like he told her, I got a show. I want you to play my girlfriend. She didn't want to do it because she had booked a show. It was pilot season, and they were giving her guaranteed 7 episodes. And she said that, they were this was a show that was going to get picked up, to go the full run, like the full, maybe 20 episodes, maybe 22, maybe 30, depending on what show it is. So, she wasn't really trying to do it because she was like, I already got a show, and, it's already guaranteed. I already got 7 guaranteed episodes. So what Martin did to convince her was he came over to her apartment and he was trying to convince her. Here's the thing. Tashina had already auditioned for the show, and Martin didn't know that Tashina and Tisha were best friends. He didn't know they was roommates. So at this time, Tashina and Tisha were roommates. And when Martin came over, Tashina told Tisha, don't tell him nothing. Don't tell him that we friends. Don't tell him that I know you. I want to book the show on my own merit. I want to get it on my own. Don't you say nothing. So he came over and it was like he saw her and he was like, oh, so y'all know each other. And eventually came to be that Tisha would be on the show playing Gina, his girlfriend, and then his wife, and then Tashina would be on the show playing, his frenemy, Pam. So boom. We move on. I can say this. You can tell that Martin has changed from, like seeing him on Def Comedy Jam and looking at his specials from back in the day and just how he was in like the 90s into like the early 2000s and like all the movies that he's done. You can see that he's really changed. And I say this because it's just like there's something so like calm and humble slash it's just like I'm here for the good time. I'm here for all the vibes. I'm not really trying to be out there and take over. I'm not really trying to be like this big personality. There's something so calm about him, and I was like, I don't know if it's like as he's gotten older he's changed, or if it was like do we all know he had a stroke, and everything that came after that caused him to change. But there's something so like I'm humble, I'm calm, I'm not here to be wild and crazy. I'm just here for the vibes. I'm gonna let y'all vibe out, and I'm gonna vibe with you, but I'm gonna let y'all do everything, and I'm gonna just sit back in the gap and just be here and just be, me. And I was like, that is so like that is something so different. Like you don't pick that up from him like in his like things he did in the past, including like the show Martin. But it's just like, wow. It's like changing and it's like growth. So it's just like, okay, I see it. Respect. They speak, I'm not doing it like blow by blow like I would do a TV show because it was like an hour and I want to say 30 minutes. But I just picked up like the different stuff that, I thought was important or that I peeped out. The goal, like they said, the goal of the show when it came to them, like filming the show in front of the live audience and, putting it out there for the people to see and then for us to eventually see. If you were born like me, I was born in 98. So I was like born way after this show came out, but I grew up watching reruns of the show. The goal for them wasn't to make the network or the network heads or like, anybody who was signing paychecks love the show. The goal was to make the audience who is like there for a live taping laugh and stomp, because most of the time like shows back in the day, and some shows now but not most shows now, used to use live audiences, and especially if it was like kind of like a sitcom type show, would use live audiences to do the reactions. So whether it be laughing or cheering or booing or the ooh when something happens, you use the live audience for all of that back in the day. They don't do a lot of that now. It's more like laugh track, and then people would be upset because it's just like, y'all use the laugh track way too much. It's not giving very authentic. And for this, like for the reunion, they did have a live audience. So their goal was to make the audience laugh and stomp, because if you could get like them to laugh and stomp and really like put they all into it, like they throwing their bodies around, you knew that your joke really hit. Another goal for most of the cast was to get Martin to laugh and break. They were like, well, if you can get him to laugh and break, your joke is really good, on top of having the audience do it as well. So it's just like, well, that was nice to know. That was like something cool. We get on like what did they do with their first checks. Um, Obviously we don't know what Tommy did with his first check. He is no longer here with us. Rest in peace, Tommy Ford. But we find out that Carl, Tashina, and Tisha all bought cars with their first check. Carl, because his main vehicle or resource to get around was a motorcycle. And, he was like, I really got to get me a car. So he got a car. And then Tisha and Tashina got matching BMWs like besties would, but they didn't do the matching license plates. And Carl said, he brought Martin out to see his car because they all had like their own parking spots reserved just for them. And he brought Martin out to see his car. And, Martin told him, getting a car, that's great. Now, you have to invest into yourself. You have to invest back into yourself. Like you got to buy houses. You have to buy a house. You got to go property. You got to do this, which was like, it's great that even back then somebody was thinking about all that stuff, because really when you think about it, when you hear people talk about, oh, I have so much money, or like I have this, I have that, it's just like, okay, but where did you invest your money? Like, do you have property? Do you have like rental properties? Do you did you like invest in like paintings, because those paintings are items that gain more monetary value as the years go on. Do you have gold? Do you have steel? Do you have silver? Different stuff like that. Do you have stocks and bonds? Like you have to think about all these things, because you just can't be like buying like these you can't just be buying cars and clothes and bags and everything, because those are material items that once you wear it, once you drive it, it loses its value. It does nothing to you. It does nothing for you. Like it'll make you feel good about yourself in that moment, but like once you drive a car off the lot, it's already lost half of its value. Once you wear some clothes, it's already lost its value. Once you wear a bag so many times, it's lost its value. That's why a lot of people, when like they buy Birkins, and I don't mean like the fake Birkins, I mean the real Birkins, you don't see them wearing them every day. Like the people who really think about this stuff, you don't see them wearing it every day. They have it in the bags on the shelves, make it look nice and pretty, sit it up there, because a lot of people are like, oh my God, you just bought it just to sit it up there. I was like, no, if you really think about it, they bought those Birkin bags to sit them on a shelf because, they look nice, but because there's no wear and tear on them, because they're like, it's not damaged, nothing has happened to them, because they're still in their dust bags. If something like, when push comes to shove and they need the money, they can unload them things. I'm just saying. So we also find out with Martin's first check from the show, he rebuilt his mother's house for her. And I thought that was like really sweet. We find out what Carl's been up to as of recently. Carl is, on a show on Nickelodeon called Young Dylan. They're on the third season. He directs like most of the episodes. He now has a hat line, because the hat he had on, it looked really nice. And we find out that, because a lot of people thought it was Kid Capri um, singing the intro song for Martin. No, it's really Carl. And I was like, seriously? Oh my God, I didn't know that. Like, that is something I didn't know. It was like something, like I said before I started this, there were some things I didn't know about the show and like how it all came to be. And then there were some things I already knew. So, like, something I already knew was the dog from the, what was that movie? New Jack City. I hope I got the name of the movie right, but I know Wesley Snipes was in it. I know Chris Rock was in it playing a crackhead. I know Alan Payne was in it. Ice-T. I know all these people were in it. So in the scene where they're all sitting in the table and Martin is going off about that stupid, like I think it's like portable, CD player or whatever it was. He was going off about it because he thought somebody in like the friend group stole it, and he was like, everybody got to come in black. We got kind of like a poker table. Y'all gonna sit all around it. And he had a dog. So I already knew this. I forgot who talked. Like, I forgot if it was like Tashina or Tisha who talked about it. But they were talking about how Martin had asked for a real dog. Like, they thought they were going to get an actual dog. And they didn't get an actual dog. The prop masters built a dog for him. And they were like, oh my God, like the weights on the feet will make the dog stay up and everything. And basically they gave Martin a prop dog, and then Martin just took off with it. Y'all know the using it to like dragging it around, barking at people. Uh, the dog like didn't stay up like it was supposed to. So when it dropped, Martin said, "Now lay." And then when Brumman came in, and I think this was like when he announced that, yeah, I was the one who took, the CD player or whatever, Martin hopping over the dog and barking and all that stuff. So it's like I already knew that. That may have been something like new for the people at home who are watching it, but I had already known that. And I forgot if it was like Tisha. It was one of them because they were like, we were supposed to have a real dog. But I think it was like either Tisha or Tashina said something about it already, and I think it was like unsung or something. We talking about Big Shirley. So Big Shirley was a nod to Shirley Hemsfield from What's Happening and What's Happening Now, and then she had her own show. And Martin, if y'all didn't know, I think that was maybe like one of his first big acting gigs. He was on What's Happening Now, which was the like reboot of What's Happening, and that was just a continuation of Raj and all like everybody's story. And if y'all don't know, Raj actually played Mr. Omar in Everybody Hates Chris. I just like recently made that connection. So it was a nod to her, and then Carl's sister's name was Shirley. Now, they had a hand in naming Shirley, but they did not have a hand in Shirley not being seen and Shirley not being as big and tall as she was. So we find that out about them. We find out for the first two seasons that Tashina was not in every single episode. It may have felt like she was in every single episode, but she wasn't. And she said it took a toll on her mental because it's just like, everybody would get their scripts every Tuesday. Like scripts got handed out every Tuesday. And if she didn't get a script, she knew that she wasn't in the episode. And they were she said that Martin called her the unhappy cast member because they would be taking pictures and Tashina would be off to the side just like, not mean mugging but not smiling. And Tashina said it took a toll on her mental, but it also made her work harder. And it's just like, which then eventually got her into every episode after that. But I was just like, that's sad that, every Tuesday, maybe because they didn't have nothing in the story for you, or maybe they didn't have anything for you, everybody gets their scripts, and then it's just like, well, I'm the odd man out because I ain't got no damn script. And I was just like, if it was me, I know I would feel the same way because it's just like, then, you know, why am I here? I ain't got no episode this week, or I'm not filming anything this week. Can I get my script for the episodes that I will be in? Because, this ain't it. But I think in Tashina's head, with all that was the push she needed to really like be not serious in her craft, but to go even harder to show them that I can do this and I could be like one of the top people. So boom. Child, Brian McKnight popped up and he started singing the song that he sang when Martin and Gina got engaged in the park. And after he finishes his singing and everything, he sits down and they talk about him being on the show. And we find out that song he sang in the park was actually his first single off his first album. And it didn't it wasn't like a huge success when he came out. It sold like maybe I think a couple 100,000 copies. But after he performed the song on the show, like it went from a couple 100,000 to a couple million copies, and then that ultimately led him to having the second album. So I was like, that was cool to see what a show like Martin could do for a musician, especially because we saw throughout the series multiple musicians, multiple actors, multiple artists, multiple fashion designers pop up here and there, whether it was their art on the show, their clothes on the show, or whether it was them on the show. You kind of saw what it did for their careers, whether the career had was already popping, so it boosted them. They was just starting out, what their music being on the show did for them. Like, that was a great thing about the show. And then we head over to Nipsey's to celebrate the life of Tommy Ford. They're having a memorial for him, especially because, he was a lovable character on the show. They said he worked at the Boys and Girls Club, but I'm still on he ain't had no job, okay? Tommy ain't had no job. And Tommy Ford's actual family, like finding out that his wife's name was Gina, I was like, oh, like you didn't expect it, but it was like that is so like that is really sweet. And then his son and his daughter, they're there, and they share like their thoughts and feelings about Tommy and just how much of a good person he was and how he wanted to do like he was following in God's light, and he was a very spiritual man, and he was just trying to do everything he could to make the world just a little bit better. So, his wife and his kids got on stage. They shared their thoughts and feelings about Tommy. And then next is like the cast one by one. They got on stage and they shared their thoughts and feelings about him. And I was like, the celebration was really beautiful. Y'all got some tears in my eyes. I cried because like that was like the first thing. No, that was like the last show I watched out of everything I had to review and take notes over. This was like the last thing I watched because I was like, I know, like I didn't know that it was going to hit me the way it did, but it was just like I grew up with these people. Even though I watched this show way after it came out, I grew up with them, and it's just like, not seeing Tommy and not being able to say, well, he still ain't got no job. It was like, oh, it really, it really touched my soul. And basically the synopsis of the celebration, the memorial, because the celebration was beautiful, was that Tommy was a man of God, and he went out of his way to help others, achieve their dreams, to see that they could do so much more than what maybe they were told they could do in life by the people who they grew up with or who raised them. And he was helping them find like their passion and to walk in their path and use their talents to aid in their purpose, and that he wanted to leave the world just a little bit better than it was when he got here, when he left. And I thought that was something touching to know that he was truly a good person, and that the character like Tommy Ford playing the character of Tommy on the show, it was really just like him being him, probably being more like at like putting 20 on 10 when it came to his character, but him off screen was him on screen. And then gospel singer Leandra Johnson performed a beautiful song, and let me tell you something, got me over here crying. I was like, I don't want to. I was like, oh my god, like these tears, I can't. Leandra, I'm gonna listen to you sing, girl, because it was like I sat and watched the whole hour and 31 minutes, and it was like, oh my god, this is so sad, but I'm gonna make it through, y'all. And I did. And then we get back to the apartment, and they talk about the different characters that Martin played on the show, and how that it was more of a collaborative effort between the writers and him. The writers would come up with a scenario, and then he would come up with a character to fit that scenario. So you had King Beef, you had Otis the security guard, you had the karate dude, I can't remember his name, you had Roscoe, you had Shanae and Jerome, and just like these different characters that he would play would be conjured up in his head from and they were like his own creative genius based off of what the writers gave him when it came to the scenarios. And everybody spoke on like his characters and how Tisha enjoyed working with the Shanae character, because Shanae would always be so focused on Pam that Shanae wouldn't be focused on Gina, and that allowed Tisha playing Gina to annoy the hell out of Shanae. And they talk about how once they would get out of the scene, Martin wouldn't because they try to talk to him about what he just did in the scene with the character, and Martin wouldn't know anything they were talking, like didn't know what they were talking about. And it was because he got into the zone of the character, like he got into the character. He wasn't himself playing the character, he was the character just playing themselves, that once he was out of it, once they yelled cut and he was back to himself, it was just like, I don't know what y'all talking about. Let's run this again. Then we get to see some of our fave characters, pop up on the screen. We see Bruh Man from the fifth floor, just a little bit thicker than what he was back in the day. Tried to climb through the window. It took a hot minute, but he got through. When he got his sandwich from the refrigerator, he left in there. And then they sit down and they talk about his character. They play his best moments, and they talk about how everybody still recognizes him as Bruh Man from Fifth Flow, and that's how they like shout him out. Bruh Man from the Fifth Flow, not Bruh Man, not the Fifth Flow. Bruh Man from the Fifth Flow, and like y'all know, Bruh Man from the Fifth Flow, when he introduces himself, he has four fingers holding up. And he said that he held it up, and when he did it, they couldn't see his thumb. And Martin was yelling like, "What y'all laughing for?" But Martin couldn't see his thumb, and neither could I can't speak. The audience couldn't see it. So instead of it being 5, like he was trying to say, it was 4. And Martin saw that, that was making them laugh. So he held up the 4, and that's where we got Bruh Man from the Fifth Flow with only 4 fingers. We talk about Hustle Man and how Martin remembered Tracy Morgan from Def Comedy Jam and remembered how much he made him laugh, that he was like, I want him for the show. Not knowing which character Tracy was going to play, but he was like, he wanted him for the show. Then we move on to Reverend Leon, Lonnie Love, Pam's cousin, the scammer, who had, I was like, I don't like the way you talking to your cousin, okay, and spinning her around, telling her how grown she is, but go off in Varnell Hill. We know that David Allen Greer and Tommy Davidson were in Living Color vets, and Martin brought them on the show because, they were quick-witted, and because Martin was like a sitcom, but with like some sketch comedy with the characters of Shanae, Jerome, Otis, Roscoe, King Beef. I feel like I'm missing a person. Oh, Bob for management. All these characters that they needed somebody to be able to that is like very quick witted and can get with like the improv and can really like work with the show. So they had them come on. Tommy Davidson pops up, and they talk about his character Ronell Hill and how I think it was like one of either the like producer, co-creator, they kept saying Bentley. So Bentley like pulled him to the side and was like, don't think about the script, don't read the script, don't go off nothing that's on paper, just do you. And that whole sit down between Varnell and Martin in the radio station, that was all ad-libbed, and it was like really them playing off of each other. So I was like, all the things that are ad-libbed and improv, most of the time turns out better than what was on like the script. Then Miss Marla Gibbs shows up, and I was like, oh, Miss Marla Gibbs, oh, living legend, bitch. Oh, y'all know she played Miss Minnie, the mean ass housekeeper who told Martin when he came out there for some water, there's a glass of juice on the table. If you want some water, go stick your head under the faucet because you ain't dirtying up my glasses, okay? She finally got her Hollywood star on the Walk of Fame, and she was like, it costs a lot of money because they got to pay to get their star. And she was like, it costs a lot of money to have people walk all over you. And I was like, well, ain't that the truth? And Miss Marla Gibbs basically let them know that, we're spiritual people and we choose what plane that we will vibrate and live on. And she says, I choose to vibrate on 30 years old because, I'm still out here acting. She's still out here collecting a check. If y'all didn't know, Miss Marla Gibbs is still making that coin. And Tashina, because Tashina and Tisha, they gave her flowers because I forgot what the word was, but really, when it came to Miss Marla Gibbs being on the Jeffersons, she would be the person on screen to have like the last funny line, the last joke. And most people are not given that. They really have to work for it. And Tashina and Tisha just gave her flowers for being a great actress, for being in this business for so long, for being able to become an icon, because whether you knew her as Florence, I forgot who she played on 227, but she was on there. They gave her flowers, and then Tashina asked her, what is your favorite character from every like the shows and the movies that you've played on? And Ms. Marla Gibbs said, very honestly, my favorite character is whichever one is paying me at the moment. And I was like, yes, whichever one is going to pay me at the moment, that is my favorite. Just like when you ask your family members, like who's your favorite grandchild, who's your favorite kid, your favorite grandchild is whoever is with you in that moment. Moving on, we talk about the Jodeci moment of when it was like the Varnell Hill show, and Jodeci was performing on the show, and Martin came down there singing, and then him and Casey start going back and forth. That was totally unscripted. That is not how they rehearsed that. Jodeci did not know he was going to come down there and sing with him, and that is why you see like Casey's reaction and him and Martin going back like. It's like looked like they was about to play fight, looked like they was about to real fight. Casey looking at him like, I know you not. It was unscripted, and Casey's reaction was real. Snoop pops up. We know he popped up for a party at Gina's old apartment. I forgot what season I was in, but we know he popped up for a party in Gina's old apartment, and he thanked Martin because that was his first time being on a sitcom. It was his first like acting experience. Like he was playing a version, like he was himself, not a like he was himself, but he was a character of himself, and he just like thankful and very humble about someone allowing him to come on their show and be him and give him that experience. And we find out that he was a true fan of the show. Okay, true fan. And he was like, I'm gonna let y'all in on something. We would be watching the show more than we made music. We would have somebody like bruh man just popping into the studio. That's like how much of a fan we were of the show, and that's how much the show moved the culture because there are so many quotables for Martin. And then he said, another reason why he loved the show is because the relationship between Martin and Gina reminded him of the relationship between him and his wife. Back then, she was his girlfriend, but he was like, honestly, that's kind of how the relationship went. So you always love to see that people can like fans can connect with a show and see like a piece of themselves in the show, because it's just like it's the Black experience on TV. And if you can't find yourself, having some type of similarities or coming to common ground with a character on a show, having like maybe the same experiences as you, or going through some of the same things as you, then it's just maybe the show don't hit for like it was supposed to hit for. It wasn't giving what it was supposed to give, or maybe you just didn't have these experiences. I'm just gonna say this: as Black people, we may grow up in different households. We may grow up totally different. You could grow up in the projects. You could grow up in the suburbs. You could have a silver spoon in your mouth. You have to, you've been trying to get it out the mud since you was 2 years old. But for some reason, we all have possibly the same experiences. Not like we've all been through the same things, but it's just like certain things that we've all gone through that we can agree with. Like we all know that the staple in medicine for Black people is some ginger ale, Canada Dry. Not that Schwab's, not nothing else. You got to have Canada Dry, some Vicks Vapor Rub, some chick noodle soup, in The Young and the Restless, or One Life to Live, or whatever soap is on, that's gonna get you right every time. And I think we could all agree that we've all had those experiences. Afion asked about Martin reboot, and Martin was like, never say never, but it wouldn't feel right without Tommy, and because he's here, it's just like, yeah, I don't want to do it, but never say never. And I was like, I don't want a Martin reboot. I wanted to stay how it was. Stay like, don't reboot that. Let it be what it was. That was like a show that even if you tried to reboot it, tried to recreate it, whether or not you had the same actors or not, it wouldn't hit the same. It would be like really different. And maybe like it wouldn't feel right. Now, if y'all could come up with a show that all y'all could be on that's not like Martin, but y'all could do something like that, then go ahead and do it. And then they talked about the legacy of the show and how it helped other talents, you know, it helped other people use their talents to aid in their purpose in the world, and how the show, caused, like, it had a lot of laughter and it had a lot of love, and you could feel that from the screen, which was great because the people watching it, if you weren't having a good day, or if things weren't going right, you could just sit down for a half an hour and watch the show, and you could kind of like disassociate from what's going on right now, and you could just live in a moment, which is always great. If I need to laugh, I'm gonna turn on Martin, because him and Pam going at each other will always be something I find funny. And then it was just like, like I mentioned before, giving different Black writers, artists, actors, fashion designers, and more, just like the opportunity to showcase themselves and their products on the show was always a great thing. And then we head back to Nipsey's. Now we get to see the actor who played Nipsey. They brought him back and we find out how he got the part as Nipsey. And it was basically Sean, the actor, Sean, who played Nipsey, came to set with Martin one day. He was always with Martin hanging out, but he came to set with Martin one day. And it just so happened to be the day that, they told Martin, we built a new set, Nipsey's, and this would be a good place for everybody to come and hang out other than the apartments. And, we need somebody to play Nipsey, the bartender, the owner. And Martin was like, Sean to do it. And they just put Sean in. And then, like, we knew him as Nipsey. And then he was like, my second episode, I was on here doing stuff I wasn't supposed to be doing, like talking, had more lines, all that stuff. And then at the very end, Martin gets up on stage at Nipsey's and introduces Snoop in his Jerome voice. I was like, and then Snoop performs, and I was like, I like this reunion. It was a great nostalgia trip. Got to really talk about some things that you didn't know. Got to rehear some things that I already knew, and then just got to appreciate these beautiful Black actors and what they gave to the culture and what they gave to us. We could all like see ourselves a little bit in the show, and we could all take away different things, and always got to love the characters, even if people see something wrong with the characters on the show. You always love them. And that. Hey Mace, I'm about to end this and head on over to Sisters right after this, after I drink my little coffee. But hey, we all love Martin. And, after I finish all this and possibly do what I said I was going to do today, I'm going to go ahead and watch me some Martin all over again. And that was it for this, because I'm going to head over and I'm going to do Sisters, because that right there, that was a hot mess this episode. It really was. And I got a problem with continuity over there. And so does Tyler Perry. So if you're new to the channel, please like, comment, subscribe, turn your post notifications on, and share me with your people. If you're not new to the channel and I love me some Martin too. I really do. And if y'all haven't already seen the reunion, if you got BET Plus, go watch it. It's a great nostalgia trip. And you're gonna get in the feels when it comes to the Tommy Ford Memorial. If you don't have BET Plus, I'm not saying where you can find it. I just heard. I'm not gonna say where you can find it, but I heard that Mr. World Premiere probably has it. But that's what I heard. I'm not saying that's where it is. That's just what I heard. Now, if you're not new to the channel, you don't like the content over here, please like, comment, subscribe, turn your post notifications on, and share me with your people. What else is there? Oh, if you want to do business with me, you want to follow me on social media, you want to buy my Elder Be Damn merch, you want to buy my lip gloss, or you want to bless your girl with a little something because she always has bills, then all that can be found in the description box where below and scrolling across the ticker that is currently going across the screen. I always have to keep y'all updated with everything, but I'm Ranting with Ricardo across all platforms, and as soon as I finish this coffee, I'm gonna go and start the live for Sisters, and we're gonna get into that hot mess express that was over there, because that was a lot. And then Basketball Wives, because I got some words for the Peach and Angel. All right, I'll see you later. Bye.